All right, Shalom. Just want to start off by saying, Call Halayim La Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahushai, Ba'Hashem, Makakodash. I want to give double honor to his apostles on Esdras, great millstone, peace and citation, so for like an Akin, spread his truth at the four corners of this earth. We're just a free brothers from the great millstone, Des Moines camp. All right, we were just talking through the spirit, and our read for the week is in 2nd Esdras. All right, and I just want to start off in this 2nd Esdras 2 and verse 33. And it says, I, Esdras, received a charge of the Lord upon Mount Horeb, that I shall go unto Israel. But when I came unto them, they set me at naught and despised the commandment of the Lord. And just as this went on, in Esdras' time, okay, this is also going on today, man. Okay? All right? Israelites, right? You so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. All right? You're setting the prophets, all right, at naught, man, and you're despising the commandment of the Lord, man.
In Isaiah 30, it says, it speaks about Israel being that rebellious house. It says, cause the Holy One of Israel to cease from before me. Tell the seers, see not, and the prophets prophesy not unto us smooth things, but prophesy deceits. This is the spirit of our people, the Israelites.
You said ain't wise to do evil, but to do good, they have no knowledge.
Real quick, I just want to grab this real quick. This is Second Chronicles. 2 Chronicles 36, and I start at verse 15, and it says, and the Lord Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, power of their fathers, sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion upon his people and upon his dwelling. Okay, so when you see the true prophets of the Lord out there on the highways and byways, man, that's the Lord having compassion upon his people. All right, verse 16, it says, but they mocked the messengers of the Most High, despised his words, and misused his prophets, until the wrath of the Lord Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai arose against his people, till there was no remedy, man. And just as these things went on back then, all right, it's happening in today's time as well. All right, you got 2/3 of our people, man, they're despising the words of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. They're misusing the prophets, man. They're pulling away the shoulder. Okay, they want to continue on in darkness, man. All right, which is that darkness is what? The ways of the wicked, man, as it says in Proverbs 4:19. You have something you want to say?
Yeah, because it said the prophets is rising B times, right?
Mm-hmm.
I looked at that word B times in the etymon. It's this adjective. It said at an early period. It says before it is too late. So the Lord got his prophets out there, showing that diligence, to feed his lambs, to feed his sheep before it's too late. So they giving that warning before the Lord rains judgment. That's what I want. That's what I want to do.
They call them to repentance, man. All right. You got something you want to say? All right. So going back to the second Esdras. 2nd Esdras 2, and I'll just read verse 33 again. It says, I, Esdras, received a charge of the Lord upon the Mount Horeb, that I should go unto Israel, but when I came unto them, they set me at naught, and despised the commandment of the Lord. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd, he shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand, and for he is nigh at hand that shall come in the end of the world. All right, and so this lesson is going to just this lesson is going to be going into breaking down this precept, man. Okay.
Can I hit this real quick?
Go ahead.
Because a lot of people get this confused, and this precept would cause confusion into those that can't understand. But throughout the context of the scriptures, it shows that this heathen that is speaking about right here is not speaking about these different nations. I'm going to hit this Amos 3 real quick just to get a foundation of that. This is Amos 3:1. Hear this word that Yahweh hath spoken against you, O children of Israel. against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt. And this is only pertaining to the Israelites, this precept right here, saying, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. And the Lord said it plainly, he's only known Israel, right, out of all the families of the earth. So then you got this precept saying what it says in 2 Esdras 2, speaking about the heathen. It sounds like it doesn't make sense on face value, but through the we're about to give the understanding of what this heathen is speaking about. Through it says precept,
Precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little.
Yep, it says King David said, through thy precepts I get understanding. So we're gonna give that understanding of who these heathen is speaking about.
Right. You know, precept that was coming to mind when you had brought out that Amos 3 was that Malachi 3 and 6. You know, if you just want to grab it real quick.
This is Malachi 3 and 6. For I am Yahweh. For I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
Right. So the Lord doesn't change, man. All right. He only known, right, the children of Israel. Okay. And that's just how it's going to be. All right. You can also get that in Psalms 147.
This is Psalms 147 and 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his commandments unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them.
Boom. It says he hath not dealt so with any other nation, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Okay, so the Lord is only dealing with the Israelites, man. It's only dealing with his chosen people. Okay.
This 2nd Ezra chapter 3 and verse 34. It say, weigh thou therefore our wickedness now in the balance, and there is also that dwell the world. It says, and so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. Which is showing how you're gonna get the name is through Israel, through the Israelites, not through no heathen.
So going back to the 2nd Esdras 2 and verse 34, it says, and therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen. Okay, so when it says in this verse, O ye heathen, all right, well, what is that talking about? Okay, that's talking about Israelites that are in a heathen state of mind, man, that are in a Gentile state of mind. Go ahead.
This what you finna hit that on?
The 1 Corinthians.
You go ahead. You hit that.
This is 1 Corinthians 12 and 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. And this is Paul speaking this. And Paul clearly stated that he was an Israelite. It says that in Romans 9, right, when he speaks about his brethren, right, in Romans 11 also, it speaks about how he was a Benjamite, an Israelite of the tribe of Benjamin, showing who his brethren were in this 1 Corinthians 12 and 1. And it said, ye know that ye were Gentiles. So he's speaking about Israelites that were Gentiles, that were heathen. And this is going into the Israelites being in that heathen state of mind, right? Just finishing off again, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. So us following after these different ways of these different nations, these different heathen, following after their gods, their idols, that made us be called heathens or Gentiles. And this is applying it back to that 2nd Ezra. This is what those heathen is speaking about, is Israelites in that heathen state of mind, following after them idols.
This is Ezekiel chapter. You have more. It's Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 32. And that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all, that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone.
You should start at verse 31.
Verse 31. It says, for when ye offer your gifts, when ye make your sons to pass through the fire, Ye pollute yourselves with all your idols, even unto this day. So that's the same thing that's taking place unto today. You know, we once was like those heathen. We was once moving in that vibration of the heathen. Well, we was considered heathen at one point. But, you know, through, you know, Yahweh Shema Shai, he called us up out of that.
Mm-hmm.
But unto this day, our people, they still moving like the heathen. They're still moving like African Americans or Mexicans and Puerto Ricans, etc. These bywords, which is what the heathen gave us, because they're moving in those vibrations of the heathen. They following after their gods, you know, moving like Esau, Edom, moving like the heathen. Mm-hmm. So it says, and shall I be inquired of by you, O house of Israel, as I live, said Yahweh power, I will not be inquired of by you, and that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all that ye say, we will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries to serve wood and stone. So our people saying like, oh, we're going to be just like the heathen. We're going to worship their gods. We're going to be just like them. We're going to be like our daddy Esau. So just showing who those heathen are in that second Esdras is referring to the Israelites, according to the context.
I got another one. Ezekiel 14. And I start at 4. Therefore, 144. Therefore, speak unto them and say unto them, thus saith the Lord power, every man of his house of Israel. I'm going to reread that. Every man of the house of Israel that setteth up his idols in his heart and putteth the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face.
Showing you that what, man? Them idols, man, is a stumbling block, man. Go ahead.
And cometh to the prophet, I, Yahweh, will answer him that cometh according to the multitude of his idols, that I may take the house of Israel in their own heart, because they are all estranged from me through their idols. So we were strangers to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua through these different idols that we were serving. Right? We were heathen. We were Gentiles. Right? And it's just all going back to us when we served them different idols. So this is why we're called these different nations in second Esdras. Right? In other precepts also, we was called heathen at certain points. Right, but this is all going back to us not serving Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, but we walking in the ways of the world, walking after the ways of the heathen. The Lord said in Romans 12 says, Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Right, those that's not renewed in their mind, that's conformed to this world, they still in that heathen state of mind.
They still estranged.
They still estranged. They still alienated from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That's what that word, that's what that word estranged goes into.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just grab that real quick. This is Colossians 1 and 19. For it pleased the Father that in him should all fullness dwell, and having made peace through the blood of his cross, by him to reconcile all things unto himself. By him I say, whether they be things in earth or things in heaven.
Go ahead.
Through Yahweh's sacrifice, we're able to be reconciled or made friendly again with Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Verse 21, and you that were sometime alienated and enemies in your mind by wicked works, yet now hath he reconciled. So through Yahweh's sacrifice, we're able to be reconciled back into the Heavenly Father, right? So that we're not heathen no more, so that we're not estranged or alienated anymore. This is all through the sacrifice that Yahweh made for us, because the Lord didn't forsake us after we did all those things, like that Malachi that we just read. The Lord, how's it worded? I just forgot it.
Malachi?
Yeah.
It says,
I'm the Lord, I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
So he will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land.
Yeah, so the Lord didn't forsake us.
Yep.
But just given the understanding of what that second Esdras is speaking about, we were being called heathen because of these different idols that we were serving again.
I had a quick precept just to go with that with that precept we just read. This is Ephesians 2 and verse 19. It says, now therefore you are no more strangers and foreigners, right? Because what made us strangers and foreigners, man? It's going after these idols. Okay, it says, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of the Most High. All right, it was through the blood of Yahweh Shai, all right, that we're able to be reconciled, okay, that we're able to be fellows, that we're able to be of the household of the Most High, man. Okay, and are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Yahweh Shai Mashiach himself being the chief cornerstone. But, you're going back to this, going back to this second Esdras 2 and verse 34, it says, and therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, it says, that hear and understand. All right, and real quick, I just want to go to this Baruch. All right, Baruch 2, and I'll just start at verse 30. It says, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people.
Right,
but
the most hard-headed people on the planet Earth is the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. Mainly Southern Kingdom. No, but that's who... Go ahead.
It says, verse 30, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people.
Hard-headed.
But in the land of their captivities, they shall remember themselves. Right? And that's talking about in today's time, man. Okay, because in our and throughout all our captivities, man, we always knew who we were as a people, right? Except for this last captivity that we're in underneath Esau, Edom, man. All right, as it says in Jeremiah 17 and 4, right? If a brother can grab that real quick.
This is it's Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. It says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
Right, it says we shall discontinue from our heritage, man, that being our land, all right? But we were also given a law of life for our heritage, man, okay? So when we came over here, all right, we were discontinued from our heritage, man. And can you reread that one more time?
It says, and thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thy enemies in the land which thou knowest not, for ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
Right, and we're serving, right? We're in the land, right? We're in the land serving our enemies, man. As it says in that Jeremiah 50 and verse 33, so the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, right? In that chapter is referencing Babylon, man. But in ancient Babylon, the children of Northern Kingdom and Southern Kingdom were not oppressed together. All right, it was just Southern Kingdom. Okay, so that Babylon that is referencing in that Jeremiah the 50th chapter is speaking of a new Babylon. Okay, Babylon the Great. All right, which is America, man.
Mm-hmm. The same Babylon that speaks about in the book of Revelations, that great city. But that's all.
And it says, going back to this Baruch 2 and 30, it says, for I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves, and shall know that I am the Lord their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. Okay, and that comes from our elder Abba Bivens, right? And the elect men on down, man. Okay, through our elders and our apostles, man. All right, as it says in that Jeremiah 3 and in verse 15, I will just grab it real quick. Jeremiah 3 and verse 15. All right, it says, and I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Okay, so our elders and apostles are set up to feed us with that wisdom and knowledge, right, and that understanding pertaining unto salvation.
Right, the Lord said, feed my sheep. So the Lord is doing that through the prophets. You know, he said the Lord said he sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So the Lord got man on the planet Earth to lead his sheep in the proper way. You know, the scripture said that his sheep hear my voice and they follow me. How are they hearing that voice? Through the prophets. The Lord's mouthpiece.
God. And going back to this Baruch 2 and verse 31 again, it says, and shall know that I am the Lord their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. Okay, showing you that what, man, the elect here is going to have those names, man.
They ain't gonna be found nowhere but in Israel.
You know, as it says in that Sirach 17:10, man, and the elect shall praise my holy name. Okay. So going back to this second Esdras 2 and verse 34, I just reread it again. And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. Okay? And how do you look for your shepherd, man?
Ultimately, the Lord gonna give him the ear to learn, like it speaks about how the Lord gave that to Isaiah, right? And Zechariah just quoted that precept in John 10. It said, "My sheep hear my voice." I'll grab it real quick.
You know, the Lord say, "You shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. Turn not to the left or the right," roughly paraphrasing. It said, "Thy teacher shall not be moved into a corner anymore, but thy eyes shall see thy teachers." So they're going to teach you and show you the way.
Right.
Say, these are the men will show us the way unto salvation. You know, so they showing and paving that way on how to get to the kingdom, how to get that understanding of the scriptures.
This is John 10 and 4. And when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. So the elect is gonna hear the voice of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, which we was going into earlier, is coming through the men that the Lord has set up. Right, that shall feed his sheep with knowledge and understanding.
Yep. Going back to that Jeremiah 3:15.
Yep, because they gonna make all these things plain. You know, like that Nehemiah 8:8, they gonna get a sense. Yep. You know, so the sheep, they gonna hear that. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, this gotta be it. And they gonna fall in line.
Yep. This is Isaiah 50 and verse 4. Yahweh power hath given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him that is weary. He wakeneth morning by morning. He wakeneth mine ear to hear as the learned. So this is what the Lord is doing for his elect. He's giving them that understanding and that ability to hear these words and they resonate with these words. It's all through the Lord at the end of the day as coming to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua.
Right, we just the messengers. Say, I planted Apollo's water, but the Most High gives the increase. It's all of the Lord. We just messengers, but it's of the Lord. You know, that He put that, you know, that message and put it in you, which is all of the Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua, of course. But it's the Lord that's going, you know, increase us, you know, in this knowledge.
I'm gonna grab this one real quick.
Oh, good.
This is John 6 and 44. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. Showing that we're not coming to Yahweh or Yahweh Shai except we called. We accept the Lord. It's in the Lord's plans. So it's all like we was just going into. It's all Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua at the end of the day that's drawing us to Him.
And ultimately, you got to be ordained. You know, you got to be ordained. You know, from the beginning, the Lord said He sanctified. You know, in the womb, say, "I knew thee, I ordained thee a prophet." You know, so it gotta be already in you. You know, and the scriptures also say that the Lord said, "Can't no man pluck them out of His hand." So can't nobody stop the elect from being the elect. That's plain.
Going back.
So Lord will, we endure to the end, because the scriptures do say many are called, but a few are chosen. So Lord will, we endure to the end. But the elect on the door. They gonna hear the Lord's voice and they gonna take heed.
Going back to this 2nd Esdras 2 and verse 34, it says, "And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd, he shall give you rest, for he is nigh." It says, "For he is nigh at hand, that shall." It says, "For he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world."
Right, what the heathen need rest from? why would they need rest?
We're in the time of the Gentiles, like the scriptures speak about. I think that's in the book of Luke. It says scriptures speak about to the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So we in the heathen's kingdom, starting with Esau, Edom.
So the earth is given into the hands of the wicked.
It said Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And we not in Jacob's world right now. We in Esau's world, and he's ruling along with these other nations.
That Micah 2:10. It's saying, "Rise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It will destroy you even with a sword destruction." So this is where the rest. This is where you get the rest at. Within this knowledge, the Lord say, "Where plenty in this is ready, where rest is allowed." That's the kingdom, baby. But you can go ahead.
This is verse 35, 2nd Esdras 2 and verse 35. It says, "Be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore."
The Lord say He's a reward of them that diligently seek Him. So we gotta seek the Lord. It starts with seeking the Lord, coming back. It said, "Was your mind to go astray, being returned, seek Him 10 times more," because we went off.
You want to grab that Acts?
You read 30. You read 35 already?
Yep, I just read it.
Yeah,
I will read it again. This is 2nd Esdras 2 and verse 35. It says, "Be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore."
Right, that reward of the kingdom is for the Israelites. Right, the kingdom to come that Yahushua is bringing is for the Israelites, showing you who that heathen was in the precept in the verse before. But this is Acts 1 and 6. It says, Acts 1 and 6, "When they therefore were come together, they asked of him," the disciples asked Yahushua, saying, "Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel?" Showing you who the kingdom is for. Showing you who that reward is for in that 2nd Esdras that we just read.
Let me just grab this real quick.
What's the name?
The Matthew. This is Matthew 25, and I just started verse 31. It says, "When the Son of Man," it says, "when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them from one another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep." Slakia. "As a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats." All right. And verse 33, it says, "And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left." Okay. So those sheep, man, is going into the elect. All right. And it says, verse 34, it says, then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, "Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world." All right. And then another precept that just came to my mind, just to showing you who the sheep is. All right. It says it says, for unto you am I sent unto the
The Lord said He sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
so like I was having a
good.
hard time bringing that out. But yeah, the lost sheep of the house of Israel, man.
And showing that sheep is the flock. You know, the Lord is the shepherd. And He's sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You know, so we're out there to bring the sheep back into the fold. You know, bringing them back unto Yahweh Shai. But you got more?
That was it.
This on Daniel chapter 7 and verse 18. It said, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever."
Yep, showing who the kingdom is for. The saints shall take the kingdom. I'm going to grab this Psalms 148 to show who those saints are. This is Psalms 148 and verse 14.
Mm-hmm.
He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel. A people near unto him, praise ye Yahweh. So the saints is the Israelites. Those are the ones that's near to the Lord. The Lord specifically says that the Lord is the other nations is like spit unto him,
Mm-hmm.
and counted nothing and less than nothing unto him. So this kingdom that's coming is not for them. It's for the Israelites. What I just quoted was in Isaiah 40, and
You said be like unto spittle.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
it
the
said that
second
in second
Esdras
Esdras
6.
as well.
I think.
Yeah, Isaiah 40 and verse 15, I believe.
I'll grab the second Esdras. You grabbing Isaiah?
I can.
Oh,
Oh.
sure.
Isaiah 40. You gonna read it?
Yeah.
Isaiah 40 and verse 15, it says, "Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing."
Yep. So these nations is basically worthless unto the Lord. That's what he's saying. The small dust of the balance, a drop from the bucket. Right? You're not worried about the small dust of the balance on the scale. Right? When you're weighing something, you're not worried about a drop of water that falls out of a bucket when you're carrying water. This is how the Lord likens these different nations. And I'll just grab this second Ezra 6 to back it up. This is second Ezra 6 and 56. I'll start at 54. "And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest, Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen." Right? Them people is the Israelites. That's who the kingdom is for. "All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes."
Sake. Not everybody's sake.
So, excuse me. Verse 56, "As for the other people which also come from Adam," right? Because all the nations on the earth come from Adam. "Thou hast said they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel." And that's what it is. That's just another one backing up that Isaiah 40. But the Lord, this kingdom that we're coming into is for the Israelites. Again, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The descendants of Jacob, who got his name changed to Israel, and the promises went down to his seed, the 12 tribes of Israel.
You have anything? Let me see. Also, if we would have kept writing down on that Isaiah, it would have said the same thing. How these other nations are nothing.
Less than nothing.
Less than nothing. Yeah, vanity. But Lord willing, this is all we had through the Spirit. You know, hopefully this was edifying, just giving a sense. Okay, on the second Ezra 2 and verse 34. All right, so with that, hopefully this is edifying. We just want to end it off by saying, "Call Layam La Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahushai, Ba'Shem, Akakodash." Want to give double honors to the apostles on the Elders, great millstone, peace and citations, to Felek and Aki, and spread the truth at the four corners of this earth. Shalom.